Hi everyone, I'm Jeri Shikuma, the Home and Community-Based Programs Administrator here at ACC. Welcome to our much anticipated cooking demo, Have Wok, Will Travel with David SooHoo. As you all might have noticed, we're set up a little bit differently here today. First of all, we're outside on ACC's patio. And for the first time in a long while, we're happy to be able to have a small in-person group in our audience. They're all masked and socially distanced, but unfortunately there's not going to be any food tasting today. So I'm sorry about that. With the Delta variant and with our efforts to really be prudent about health and safety, we decided to keep today's presentation to a lot of great conversation, some free smells, but no eating, unfortunately. For those of you in the audience here, I hope you understand our decision. We've been putting together, we've presented, I think, over 350 classes and workshops since the pandemic started. And we're really working hard to be able to expand our offerings so that we can keep all of these opportunities for you to keep learning and connecting, whether it be in person or online, or just getting fit and having fun. But we need to be safe and healthy in order to do that. For those of you at home, if all goes well, we hope to be able to continue to invite small groups into ACC for these presentations. So if this is something that's interesting to you, stay tuned for more information in the next few weeks. And now I have the pleasure of introducing our host today, Jean Shiomoto. Many of you already know Jean. She's our fearless board chair and also the co-chair of ACC's Lifelong Learning and Community Services Committee. Actually, Jean wears a lot of hats here at ACC. She works hard behind the scenes and in front of the camera. And her work and guidance and commitment really helps us staff to deliver the programs and services that you all enjoy. So we really appreciate her a lot. So help me welcome Jean Shiomoto. Jean.
Thank you, Jeri. Sure. Thank you for that kind introduction. I like to stay behind the scenes, but Ted pulls me in and gets me in front of the camera. But welcome to Have Wok, Will Travel. We have renowned chef with us, David SooHoo, who's going to take you on a culinary journey of his cooking, that he's been using these techniques for over 50 years. And you're going to be learning how to make broccoli beef today. And he's going to share you a lot of information on how to cook, what ingredients to use, and different techniques. So I'm going to welcome David SooHoo to the stage.
I'm Chef David SooHoo, and I am honored to be invited here to teach how to cook with a wok. So today I've got an electric wok, and we'll get right into it, okay? First of all, I called it Have Wok Will Travel because the wok actually has been around for about 170 years here in America, and the Chinese would take a wok and they go anywhere in the world and be able to make money and feed everybody. And so that's why we call, I wanted to bring that into the discussion, okay? It all started in 1972 when Nixon went to China, and that opened up an interest in China. That was 1972. What happened is then all of a sudden everybody was interested in Chinese food, and then the wok trend started. So this is a wok pan. Many different kinds. So Sacramento is where a lot of, so what happened is we had lots and lots of celebrities created here. One of them, of course, is Martin Yan. So we had lots of pots and pans to sell, and Taylor and Inc. started selling. And then we have Macy's, and you can see myself on the left, and in the middle there it's Biba Caggiano. Again, Sacramento has so much good stuff here that we literally fed the nation. And this is Rhoda Yi, and she started disclosing all the different secrets about Chinese and Asian cooking. So dim sum at the time was really very secretive, and she was one of the first one to disclose these things. Next slide. So we had lots of woks to be sold, and if you remember, Lonnie Wok, she started selling cookbooks, and that started the food section in Sacramento Bee, and the food trend really ramped up. So what is a wok, okay? It's a deep frying pan, so we can deep fry with it. Next slide. So it's a griddle where you can make egg foo young. So it's more than just a round pan. So here you see egg rolls made with it. It's a steamer. So if you just take, if there's water in there, it heats up, and what people don't realize is water is amazing because it stores energy. So it's like kerosene. So when it heats up, it cooks the beef, broccoli, whatever's inside the dome really fast. So that is a steamer attachment. It's also a pot. So you can boil things, make stews. And of course, it creates wok hay, and if you add different chips and sugar and things like that, you can actually smoke with the wok. So the wok is more than just a pan. It's actually all of this. So whenever you stir fry, you want to make sure that it smells good. It caramelizes, so you have secondary flavors. You put the lid on it so that the wok hay is not lost. So the wok is very, very, very amazing. So the best thing for me to do is simply to show you. So let's go ahead and make a dish. So I'm going to take an electric pan, electric wok, and I'm going to plug it in, and it's going to start heating up. So we're going to make broccoli beef. Actually, let's go to the next slide first. So we should teach you how to taste before we even start. We need to understand the ingredients here. So we have a tongue. So the first thing I ever learned, and the Chinese call this lei. One of the most important things is to learn how to use your tongue. Next slide. So here you have different parts of your tongue can taste things. So you have sour things, and you basically have the umami and the vegetable taste. Then you have sweet things, and you have salty things, and you have spicy ingredients, and finally you have fats and oils. So we're going to learn how to use that. So here we have meats and vegetables. So what is the yin-yang? What do you need in order for you to taste the meats and the vegetables? The answer is salt. So if you can't taste it, then add a little bit of salt. If it's too salty, then add more broccoli and beef. Make sense? So they're balanced. Next ingredient. So spicy things, bitter things, hot things, wasabi, mustard, all these things cause you to sweat, and the feelings come out. And sometimes they're very, very scary. So if it's too scary, what do you add? So if you add sweet things like sugar, honey, brown sugar to mustard, for example, you have honey mustard, it's enjoyable. So sweet chili sauce is sugar and hot chili pepper. So they work both ways. So if it's too spicy or too bitter, like coffee, then add some sugar. If it's too sweet, then add some more things that you don't like black peppercorn. And then they're balanced together, okay? So what's the purpose of acids? Why do we add lemon to the dish? Why do we add sour things? Well, as you can see, acids make the volume very, very loud. Now I can taste everything. That's the reason why we add lemon, we add tamarind, we add sour things. All of a sudden, we can taste everything in the clam chowder by adding a little bit of lemon juice. So now that it is too sour, too loud, what do we add to it? Yes, we turn the volume back down so we can enjoy it. We simply add some butter, fats, any oil, and then the volume turns down, and then smooth and very, very enjoyable. So you see how these things play on each other? And that's the way the tongue works. And this philosophy, which I just told you, will go with you forever the rest of your life. It'll make you know how to taste. So whenever you go out and have a dish, you will ask the same question. What I've done is, you can download this, but I created this very unique tasting cube. And you can download and make a cube yourself. So if it's too sweet, what do? You add something you don't like pepper, chili pepper, jalapeno, mustard. If it's too spicy, what do? Add some more sugar. Okay, so here you got meats and vegetables. What do you need for your tongue to see it, to taste it? Salty things. So in certain parts of China, we have thin soy. We have salt, you have kosher salt. You have all these things will allow you to taste this, okay? So if it is too oily, what do? Like, let's say, side pork. It's too fatty. What you do is you add some vinegar to it. You add some lemon. Now it is toned down, very enjoyable, okay? So this, you'll always know. Okay, next slide. With your nose and your tongue, you now know it's broccoli beef. Okay, that's the dish we're going to cook. Next slide. So long time ago, in San Francisco, in 1960s, Johnny Kahn wrote this book. And these are the flavors of China. So this simply is something he remembers, and he called it 8 Immortal Flavors. So one of the interesting, lot, it means very hot. Even the word no taste, bland, is actually a taste according to him. Like rice has no flavor, but that's a memory. So flavor is basically your nose, your mouth, and creates culture, okay? Okay. So there's one more philosophy before we start, and that is the 9 doors. Okay, if you look at your body, count them. This is very important. It's literally the meaning of life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 pleasure centers of your body. Let's go through them. So the eyes makes foods look beautiful. You need to make foods look beautiful, and shapes and colors. These make the eyes happy. Next slide. You have the nose. Put ingredients together that smell good, and you can do that with herbs. You can do it with aromatics. You can add a little bit of alcohol because that will pull out the flavor, smell for your nose. Next dish, ears. So this dish, broccoli beef, right? Go to 2 Chinese restaurants, they're never the same. In fact, I can make your ears happy by simply calling this dish a cow in the forest. You see how the ears need to eat? Ears are just important in the rest of your body. Next. Now we have the which one we got there? That's the mouth. Okay. So the mouth, you have to make foods taste good, right? You have to be able to bite and be able to put it down in your mouth. So it's important to make the taste, which we covered with the taste cube. Next. Okay, so we have the rear end or the skin. Excuse me, not the skin. Rear end. You eat meat today, you want vegetables tomorrow. If you eat vegetables today, you want meat tomorrow. If you have constipation, you're not going to want anything. You see, so that's called health. Makes sense to you? So your 9 doors do affect you quite a bit. Did we jump one where, anyway, the other one, again, like I said, is the skin, genitals. So the chili peppers, these things, make it very sensual. So next time you have wasabi with sushi, that's actually making your skin feel good, your body feel good. That's why we do that, okay? So those are the needs of you. So when you're married, one person has to take care of the other's doors, vice versa. Okay, compatibility. Okay, next, let's go ahead and click and okay, I want to tell you something else. There's 2 kinds of woks. One is called the pow wok. The pow wok is a wok where it doesn't have to be even round. It could be flat. And that is where it's called dry style. It's used in the north part of China. We call it a pow wok. It could be just a pan. Okay? The other one is called the chow wok, which is a chow wok is where we cook things and we create the caramelization. We go through the process of slowly using as a pan. Then we make the smoke. Then we make the extra flavor by lightly browning it. And then we make it beautiful. Okay, make it smell good. We go through all of this, okay? How does it affect my 9 doors, right? And I quickly close it, and I make sure it's not lost, okay? So what's happening is after I thicken it with cornstarch, I put this dish, and then it has all that smell, and fried rice is supposed to have all of that, okay? Because that's the ultimate test. Just like a European-American chef would test you by making a scrambled egg. So scrambled egg is not really that easy. You have to make sure you have enough liquid in there so it's tender. So making fried rice is a challenge, okay? And that's your stir fry, your chow wok, okay? So there's 2 kinds of wok, and that is. Let's go next. We'll show you how to do that, okay? So northern pow wok restaurants is like P.F. Chang, Mongolian barbecues where you choose something and you throw it on a griddle with a barbecue sauce and it comes back at you. And also, of course, Panda Express. So they simply griddle things, okay? And it doesn't even have to be a round pan. But they're not trying to create that smell. Next dish, sweet and slide. So the chow wok is like here in Sacramento, of course, be Frank Fat's. So every time, Happy Garden Restaurant, of course, Hugh Wang. Anyway, these are different restaurants trying to do the fine dining, okay? But they're both good. Next course. So we're going to do broccoli beef, okay? Okay, so to start off, you need some beef flank. And if you look at it, you can actually see beef flank, how it tears apart. All you have to do is cut it the length that you like. Okay. Then you take, against the grain, you can cut it simply like this. Or you can cut it, make it longer, or flatter, larger pieces, by going an angle. See, there's no right and wrong, okay? You can buy it pre-sliced. So you put the amount that you would like. Okay, and I gave you a recipe, so it's pretty simple, all right? Here we go.
Is it more tender when you cut it sideways, or is this?
Yes, if you cut it sideways, you get a larger piece, okay? And because of the thinness of it, it's going to be more tender. But you may not like it because some people like to bite into a big chunk. It's all relative. You have to look at the person that you're cooking. Okay, so everything that I teach you today has 2 sides. They have been doing this, the Chinese have been doing this for at least on paper, 3,000 years, okay? So, and there's no right and wrong. One person will like it super thin, another person may not, okay? So marinating is very important.
Follow up, Chef. When you cut it sideways, do you cook it light fire or high fire on a straight cut?
It doesn't matter, both is right. I'll show you.
Okay.
Okay, so,
Medium well.
yeah, so we put some oil in it. And the reason why I put oil is the more liquid in here, the less, the more tender it is. If I put a lot of oil, it's literally going to fall apart, believe it or not, okay? And then we put salt. Why do we put salt?
Okay.
Yes, so now we can taste the beef, okay? And if we don't have salt, then we put thin soy, which is in parts of China, you don't have salt. And in Vietnam, they use fish sauce. Okay, you see how it works? So there is no exact right and wrong. Then to make it enjoyable with feelings, we put white pepper or dark pepper. If you put white pepper, then it does not offend the eye. If you put black peppercorn, even though it tastes great, right, it may offend your eye. So it's all relative. I can put jalapeno to make it so you don't like it, but at least it'll make your skin move and become very sensual. So I'm going to put some white pepper so you don't know it's there. Okay? And we continue to go down this list of the ingredient, the tongue, right? Why would I put a pinch of sugar?
Balance the pepper.
Now you love it. Yes, now you love it. You love everything. Okay? Even if I had, except you don't like, you'll find that you love it. If it's too sweet, what do? Simply add some more things you don't like. Okay, so why would I put some cornstarch in there?
Thicken it up.
Well, what happened is if I put some cornstarch, then the juices will not come out. So the more cornstarch I put, the more it's not going to leak out. But too much, then it is gummy and becomes too crispy if you pan fry it. Okay? I gave you a recipe that's a good start, but you need to understand that you're cooking not with recipes, but you're cooking with expression. In the end, we cook with love and expression. And if the way it works is if you don't like it, then they're going to be quiet, okay, if you carry something like this. That's the way it is, okay? So let's go ahead and mix this up, and let's go ahead and prepare the rest of the ingredients, okay? If it's too dry, you simply add more oil, okay? And then it goes on and on. Now, as far as the ingredients, you have onion. Okay, we need some onion. Why do we use onion? Why do we use onion? Why do we use onion? Is a natural way of making it smell good without making the broccoli ugly. So when I stir fry the broccoli, it's going to be dark. It could be brown. So what we do is we sacrifice an onion. And onion, when you bite into it, cooked, it's very, very sweet. Okay? And that's why we use onion, and also makes the dish smell nice. So here we go. So the next question I have for you is, which way do I cut it? Do I cut it this way, or do I cut it this way? See, so I'll tell you. If I cut it with the grain, okay, then when the dish is done cooking, the onion will continue to be there because it doesn't break up. If I cut it against the grain, and it will break and disappear. So what I'm driving at is this, okay? Even the way you cut it will affect the taste and, the texture. So the way you cut it, if you don't want to see it, then cut it against the grain. When it's cooked, it becomes so soft and it'll literally disappear. okay? If you cut it with the grain, it's always going to have texture because it's going to work against you. You can bite in, you can feel the onion. See, again, everything that is yin-yang. Okay,
So we have a question from
Sure.
the audience from Zoom.
Okay.
So the question is, when do you use black soy sauce and when do you use thin or light soy sauce?
Okay.
From Chris.
This is the way it should have been taught, but since this is the opportunity to tell you, so when you take soybeans and you put it in a big bucket and you add a little bit of yeast or leave it alone, the yeast will start coming. Then it ferments, right? And it's, with salt, by the way, it will ferment, meaning it will start changing, and you have this soy sauce created. It'll get dark, and if you look at soy sauce, there's 3 layers. The top layer is very clear, it's thin colored, and it's very salty. The middle part is like a great wine, It tastes great on the table side, not for cooking. The moment you cook wine, anyway, you cook wine or soy sauce, you ruin it. So what happened is the soy sauce has a burnt flavor. So you do not cook with premium soy sauce, table soy sauce like Kikkoman, because it will leave you a terrible taste. Again, I lied, because if I put this in teriyaki as a marinade, we want to make the smokiness. In fact, I know that so well that I take a fish, and I'll take regular soy sauce, right? Marinate this with a lot of sugar, deep fry it, and that's what's called the Mandarin smoked fish in restaurants. There is no smoking. Just by deep frying it, you have the smokiness. Then the bottom part, because the Chinese are very frugal, add some sugar to this, and we create what's called the thick soy or the black soy. It's always with some sugar, and that's to add coloring. It's also used to rub over a Thanksgiving turkey or chicken to make it brown, okay? So now you have 3 different kinds of soy sauce. We only add thin soy when we want salt. Why? Because we want to be able to taste it. And we add dark soy because we want to make you think that it's rich and beautiful if you want dark color, okay? So that's the answer there. Now, let's go ahead with carrots, okay? So carrots, why am I adding carrots to this dish? Yes, carrot. And what's another reason? Yes, and taste. So it's all. Everything is optional. Nothing is set in stone. So if I don't have it, add some red pepper, right? Everything is optional. Depends on what you have, how much money you have, and all that stuff, okay? So here we go. So we peeled it, and we cut the end off, of course, okay? And then we sometimes take this, and we go cut it, and we turn it and cut it. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Yes, it looks good. And I also don't have to carry another knife. Okay? So, yes, okay? So you got all that going on, right? But it's all optional. So another way you find in restaurants is we don't like to work that hard. So what we do is sometimes we take the carrot. This is just another technique for fun, okay? So that you can see how restaurants do it. So you take a waffle knife, you go along the length. Okay, you see that? Now we simply take a cleaver and we go make as long as we want. There we cut angle long ones or short ones, thick as you wish. And then you have these wings, these flower petals. Okay, see how fast it is to do that way? So they're all ways of making your eyes happy. So the onion makes your nose happy, okay? And so finally, it could be asparagus or it could be broccoli. what you wish, whatever you wish. So here, we have a broccoli crown. We simply take a knife, we pull. And if you do that, you'll find that anything that's tough on the outside will simply peel right off, okay? If you have a long stalk, you can do that, and it's pretty easy, okay? But today, you don't get that long part very much, okay? But anyway, they don't sell it to you as much as they used to. Here we go. So we simply cut it off, okay, like this. Okay, then we take this part. This is just like asparagus, the hearts of asparagus. And it's very tender, very juicy. Okay, so we get the pieces, we make it bite size. It's all relative to the person you're cooking for or the family. Okay, here we go. All right, so now we have the ingredients ready. Let's go ahead and do it. So here I have a pan, electric pan, and I put some water on it, and I pour it out. Okay, what did I just do? I deglazed the pan, meaning that's how you clean it. Anything that does not belong on there would have burnt away. Okay, so what you want to do is every time you cook, you want to make sure nothing is left there that will start turning into gum. So if it's gummy, then make sure you scrub it off and then cook again. And you'll see that pretty soon it's going to be like this, very, very clean, okay? If it's too gummy, it simply means your heat is not high enough. So you want to make sure that you have enough heat to clean your wok. That's the secret, okay? Is to make sure you have enough heat. Okay, so let's go ahead, okay? And we take some oil, okay? Any kind of oil, because when you're done cooking, should be no oil, because it's disappearing in the air, okay? Make sense? So you want to be able to put enough oil so there's no oil. And then put how much beef you put depends on the person you're cooking for, right? So you can have a lot of beef or a little. I'm going to go ahead and make enough for 2 restaurant orders. Okay, you see, it's not sticking. It's now creating secondary flavors, right? As a pan, it's now creating a lot of flavors. And it's making my nose happy. And as it browns, it's making beautiful colors for my eyes. And then my nose, I'm getting happy now. So the longer I cook it, the happier my nose gets, but the uglier it gets. And I'm trying to figure if there's any story here. Is this deer meat? Is this a wild game? You see how ears, they ask questions. Is this a good cut, bad cut? Is this Angus? Is this, you know, see how it works? Okay, so you also have to ask the question, how well done do you want it? They're all part of the same question. Then what you do is, I'm going to make one dish here, one order, or enough for 2 people, let's say. And then onion. Because of the cornstarch, the juices are not running out. So it's dry enough where the onions are now beginning to brown. Okay? So as soon as the onion browns, adds the stew smell now, I'm even happier. Okay? If I do it too long, it's going to start turning bad. My nose is not going to be happy. So for all of you, you can begin to be happy, right? And then finally, right, you can see that the onions are brown. And then you take broccoli. How much depends on the people you're cooking for. Okay? And then, of course, I want to add some carrots, but I don't want to brown the carrots because I want it beautiful, right? So if I brown the carrots, they'll be ugly. And I want to just move it around just a little bit. And then we add, what kind of broth do we add in here? Broccoli beef. We add chicken, then chicken people and beef people love me. If I add beef, then beef people love me even more. Okay? So that's how it works. How much liquid? It depends on what are you eating it with. So in southern part of Asia, you like to eat with rice. Therefore, we want it, we got to quickly close it. We don't want that stuff gone. We do not want any of that stuff gone. Okay? Make sense? So all that is trapped. So my jacket, tomorrow, if I iron my jacket, what's going to happen is I will say, beef, broccoli beef. Okay? So we don't want that gone. Okay? So that's how it works, okay? And in the meantime, while this is going on, you want to be able to create seasoning. So the seasoning is, you can make a slurry, if you like, of the different spices, and I gave you a recipe. So you can add some soy sauce, oyster sauce, and have one sauce ready, okay? That's one way of doing it, or simply add it as you go, like I'm going to do, okay? Because you do have a recipe, and I will remind you, no matter what you do in life, you got to do it 3 times. The first time just to do it and learn. The second time to make your muscles strong and coordinate yourself, make sure you have the right equipment. The third time you can invite guests over. It should be perfect. That's true for anything, including tennis or anything in life, okay? So here we go. It's beginning to release smell. The steam is coming out. That means this is extremely hot. That's called latent energy. It is the secret to cooking broccoli and everything, because the liquids are energized. It will cook the broccoli and keep it green. You cannot do that if the wok is not hot enough. It will turn yellow on you. And finally, you take cornstarch, right? You will need to make a slurry. The easiest way to do it is simply add some cornstarch to a cup, a bottle, and use your finger or simply shake it up, and you have a slurry. So cornstarch will thicken it, okay? And it's clear. Flour, European cooks like to do it because it adds character. The sauces are thicker, and the flour actually tastes good. So what's the best thickener? The answer is simply you take this jar, add some flour and cornstarch, shake it up. Okay? So everything I teach you has 2 sides. Here we go. So see how beautiful that is right now? So your eyes are very happy. The smell is going away, so you got to hurry up and get that to, and look at you if you're young. I'm going to add a lot of chili pepper. I'm going to add a pinch of sugar to make it lure you in. And I said oyster sauce, so I got to put some oyster sauce in there, okay? And I put as much as I want and as little as you like, okay? And I can make it more complex by adding 2 kinds of chili peppers, white and black and red, 3 flavored chili, burn, whatever, okay? So here we are, okay? We can change the smell by adding sesame oil.
I have a question,
Sure.
Chef. So from a viewer, what kind of electric wok is that, and where can I buy one?
You can't buy this because it's discontinued.
Well, what's the next best thing I can buy?
Well, see, let me tell you that in a second, but when I finish this dish off, okay? So, and I'll explain that in a second, okay? So you add enough cornstarch so that it thickens it, and you can use a chopstick to eat, okay, or not. So in the old way, they always over-thicken it. That way you can lift up the sauce and eat it with the chopstick. Today, we like to make it thinner, okay, only because it looks prettier, and we're very competitive. Make sense? So here we are. So this is the same dish as this. And so just to put it together, And I'll show you, because nothing is wasted. Should never waste food. Here we go. So the other half of this is the ladle. Okay, here we go. I wish you can taste this, boy.
You're teasing us.
Yes, I laugh because that's the thing about food, okay? Your 9 doors want it, okay? And I have there enough for, I would say, you know, depending on the nutritionist, and how many orders, how many dishes you cook. So you can't beat this because this is the same as any restaurant. To clean it, you make sure you have enough fire. So all you do is you take a little break and you simply pour water, and that's the secret to cleaning it. You don't do anything. You simply put some water on there, right? And you let the heat boil the caramel off. Okay, it will boil everything off. Or use a nonstick pan, or use extremely high heat. So in restaurants, we have quite a bit of heat where we can boil that off so fast, it's crazy, okay? So, okay, so here we have broccoli beef stir-fried, and there was a question again about what kind of wok. What you really look for is the highest wattage possible before your breaker breaks down, before it snaps and shuts off on you, drive you nuts. So while I'm cooking, from experience again, the thing that I'm looking for is to make sure that I don't accidentally unplug this in the middle of a demonstration or my breaker goes off, okay? And so as far as the wok's concerned, you simply look around and see what's the highest you can get. And I would say you can get about 1,600 or 1,800. 1,800 watts, and that's where a 20 amp breaker may start to snap on your home. So most home plugs are set up for 15 amps. So you'll see the coffee makers and everything, there's a certain limit. Now what does this mean? If I have an 800 watt wok, this is 800 watt burner, I've simply put a metal pan on it, right? Believe it or not, it's going to take twice as long to cook the same dish. If I have more wattage, and that would determine how long it would take to cook. Okay, so that kind of answered your question. And I can tell you the problem with some of the earlier models, like the West Bin, the red one, it simply was not hot enough. Okay, so you have to find a wok that does not shut off on you, and that's a challenge. Okay. So okay, so you have to. Let me show you the other style, the second kind of wok. Okay. So here I boil everything off, right? You see that? And then you simply go to your sink, and you simply try to scrub it off. See it a little bit? It's soft. This is where you scrub it off. In my case, I'm not going to worry about it, okay? But you should not have that. I'm going to exaggerate. Can you see that? What's happening, you see that wok? It's got gummy stuff. What you do is, that's a no-no. It builds up. It keeps building up and building up, and then it's a nightmare. So you want to make sure you burn that off or boil it off. And that's pretty easy if you just go to your sink and take your time and soak a little bit, okay? In our case, I'm not going to worry because you're not going to judge me because you can't taste it. But I know that this is going to be a little too burnt, but it won't matter because I didn't let it go that far. But let me show you, okay? So this is the way it works. You have some beef that's pre-cooked, right, in the Mongolian barbecue, or sliced super thin. And then you have pre-blanched vegetables. So in the restaurant, like P.F. Chang, you will have oil frying all the time under 350. So the beef will never brown. And then the same thing, they also can add vegetables into the oil under 350. This will simply boil in the oil, okay? Or water. We simply boil this, and then here it is, okay? So you make sure your pan is super hot and does not need to be a wok, okay? So this is why you go to a northern restaurant, you'll see a big old fire. It's not by the food. You should never burn it. Never, even at home. It's ridiculous to burn food. What's really happening is your alcohol added to the marinade or in the dish is it's catch on fire on the side. It's not really in your food. So whenever you see the wok burning, that's ridiculous. Like, this is ridiculous, burning. So you never burn. It's a no-no, right? Makes sense? Everything is common sense. So when I actually burnt it, what am I doing? Add water to clean it, to glaze it. Because I don't want that in my stomach, nor in my family. See how it is? It's now floating again, right? There you go, see? See, it's difficult to even breathe on. So here we go again. We do it again. We try again. See? Okay. So there's never anything wrong. Just keep doing it. Just use the techniques, the methods I taught you. The beef, the pre-boiled vegetables, right? And then you take your Kung Pao sauce or the sauce that you made, right? Or you simply throw it in there. So an example is, let me show you. Here's ketchup. So I put ketchup in there, right? Ketchup does not taste like ketchup when you burn it. Okay, so we used to take ketchup and we sear this, then we add red chili pepper, and that's called Szechuan broccoli beef. And that's how it works. So we add a ton of chili pepper until you don't complain. We add a ton of sugar, and then we add some vinegar so that it's very explosive. You eat this with rice, and it's very addictive because of the sugar. Very bad for you. That's why orange chicken sells so much, because you're addicted to it by the sugar. Okay, now I'm talking too much, and it is beginning to smell bad, okay? So that's the northern style. That is the other wok, okay? So I'll take this off, and here you have the dish, okay? So you have two kinds of wok cooking, okay? The one is the northern style, and then the southern style. This is Italian, where everything is layered. Okay. Okay. Next. Would you like the next slide? Sure.
Next slide.
Any questions here so far? So that's the recipe for broccoli beef. You can download that online, and then let's go with one more. And so here's my last rule, is you have to do it 3 times. Okay, you do have to do it 3 times. Even myself, okay, you have to do it after time passes, things change. Yes? Okay. So if I use wine, right, then everything, why do I use alcohol? It's so that it comes out, it pulls out the smell, okay? And this famous Shaoxing wine is for the memories of people who came from China. They remember that because they grew up with that smell. That's all. So you can use sherry wine as a substitute. You can use French brandies to make the French people happy. You can use, see what I'm getting, sake for all Japanese. See? So, but alcohol's purpose is to pull out everything. Yes?
You marinate it, or when you cook it, you pour it on?
So her question is, what was that, when you marinate?
Whether he use it when he marinate the meat, or he just pour it when he cook.
Both. See, it depends on how much money I have, or you have. so alcohol in the marinade makes the beef's flavors come out from the nose. Now I can really taste it and smell it. See what I'm getting at? So alcohol is very important in the marinade, but if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. And then if I add this into this dish, it will catch on fire if it's gas, because on the side there, the alcohol will burn right up, okay? So it's good showmanship, but it does not affect your flavor. But the alcohol in there will make it smell, okay? So that's why we use alcohol. The choice of which alcohol depends on the chef. You know, I will look at you and I'll see what's important to you. In the Chinese culture, we drink a lot of alcohol between dishes. Why do we drink so much alcohol? It's because it feels good. It makes your doors, your skins move around. So you're sitting there and the person's getting drunk, but what's really happening is a lot of feelings are coming out and the smell by the cooking, okay? So that's a cultural thing. Now everybody's cut back, okay? Yes. Szechuan peppercorn, by the way, is the same thing.
We have another question.
Sure.
How do you make the beef so tender and not overcooked? I always overcook it.
Yeah. So you can overcook it; it'll still be tender. The trick is, first of all, is to buy beef that you try the first time. So if you buy beef that's called green, means they just killed the cow, it fell down, they quickly pulled it apart and put it in bags. Then you have the other beef that you take, and they put this and they hang it, and they let the bacteria tenderize it. And it usually takes about 2 weeks or so, and then all of a sudden, the meat becomes super tender, and the flavors become smooth, and then it's tender. But most of the time, you pay for what you get. So this is beef flank steak from Rayleigh's. I'm not promoting them. That's Bel Air. And the buyers always buy good beef. So what happened is I know I don't need to add baking soda. So now I'm telling you the secret. The secret is after you try it one time, and if you have deer meat, you have bear meat, they give you. Alligator meat that's tough, you see. So I worked in the Delta the last 10 years for Baron Hilton Hotels, and he shoots things, and I look at this darn thing. I go, I have to cook this wild pig? And then the answer is baking soda. Baking soda is harmless, proven over thousands of years. And what it does is it breaks down the proteins. So when you bite in, so if it's tough, really tough, 1 teaspoon per pound to your marinade that I gave you, and you'll find the beef tender. And sometimes it'd be too tender. You bite into it, well, gosh, it's so mushy, it just disintegrates. Then cut back to half, because the animal, the cut, right? Different parts of the animal is very tender. The tenderloin, which is not used on the cow or the pig or the rabbit or the chicken, is very tender because that is very wet. The other parts, the sirloins, the muscular parts, it's going to be tougher. So most of the time, beef is one of the biggest challenge because the animal simply, especially in the old days, when back in the early California history, 1800s, that was like shoe leather, okay? And you had to use baking soda. That's why the Chinese came to California and were great chefs. Very, very early, they were the cooks of the new California up to 1970. Even your Nut Tree had a great Chinese cook there. Spangler's Seafood Grotto, the first hotels in the Wawana Hotel in Yosemite, they're all Chinese. Nobody wanted the job. Everybody who made it in the industry, who were famous, Crocker, everybody had Chinese cooks, okay? James Beard had a Chinese cook who taught him how to cook. That's your godfather of European American cooking, of American cooking. He had a Chinese cook who actually trained him. Okay, any more questions? Yes.
You're using the panda brim. What's the difference between the lady and the oyster sauce with the lady in the boat?
Yeah. Kum Kee is a company that knows you. They've been around a long time, and they know you. So they focus on the American palate. The premium real oyster sauce, the premium, we can't handle it. It's too real. So when I say oyster, people usually go, ugh, okay? But when you bite into or you taste panda, you go, wow, this is full of umami or full of protein flavor. And the reason why we talk about MSG or umami, they're the same thing, is because traditional Asian cooking, we don't use much meat. Tofu is a great way of avoiding meat, right? So by adding just a little bit of black mushroom, which has lots of umami, or adding a little bit of MSG, or adding more meat, then your tongue is very happy. So the panda is a little sweeter. It is less oystery. So you take oyster, you grind it up, you add bean to it, a little sugar, you let it ferment, and then you have this thing called oyster sauce. Okay, fish sauce is another one that's incredibly great. It's just a preference, but I find that oyster sauce, added in your pasta primavera, it will be award-winning. It will be internationally award-winning. If you add this to any clam chowder, you'll love it even more. If you add it to almost anything, you'll find that this is it's almost like what the French call demi-glace. So you can pay $6 for 2 ounces of it, or you can $60, or you can pay $4. See? So you treat this, and it's an amazing stuff. Everybody here are experts now. So I gave you a lot, and I'm happy that we were able to spend the time together. Okay, and so I'll show you, since I'm the person here, I can tell you, no problem. Okay? It really is good.
I want to try it myself.
You're making their mouth water.
It really is good.
Just try it myself.
Yeah, I wish you could, and I'm just saying, this is just ketchup.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, but you can. In fact, I know the lecture's over, but ketchup, you know what the word ketchup comes from? China. Ke means tomato. Jup means sauce. They actually invented this. You have to remember that the British Empire, they colonized Hong Kong for almost 100 years before they came here. So they already knew how to make apple pie, they knew how to make plum pudding, and so forth. Ketchup, it's part of our food contributions here. Okay, everybody's happy?
Okay. Let's give David a big hand. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So, to kind of summarize, you took us through a journey, and you introduced us to 2 different types of woks. You introduced us to your food tasting box, very clever, to learn about the yin and yang. Took us through the 9 doors, the senses, and that was very important. I learned a lot. Did you guys learn a lot? Yeah. Okay. And one thing that if you learn to cook and you're trying, he said try it 3 times, right? Mm-hmm. First one is okay. You're learning the techniques, the methods, and then you should learn it. And the 3rd time, that's when you can have guests over, right? And it should be really good. Yes. Right? Okay. And so you talked about the different northern style, southern style. Mm-hmm. And so I think I learned a lot, and I cook. My husband's a better cook than me, but are you guys going to take some of these techniques home and try it? Yeah? Okay, I hope online you're going to do the same thing. So thank you so much. We've learned a lot. Hopefully you might come back and share more of your cooking techniques. It was very, very informative for us. So thank you so much.
I'm honored to be here, and I want to thank ACC for having me here. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you. So, to enjoy programs like this is our online program that Jeri Shikuma is heads up. But if you want to be a sponsor for more of these programs, these programs are offered free, and we have an in-person audience limited today, but all the viewers, if you want to be a sponsor, contact Jeri. You can call ACC, and she'll take your call, or email at classes@acc accsv.org, or you can make a donation right now and go to our website and make a nice donation to ACC. We really appreciate that. So this afternoon, there's more to come. We have 2 online programs. At 2 o'clock, we have Understanding and Responding to Dementia, put on by the Alzheimer's Association. At 4 o'clock, we have Wills and Trusts 101 with Alyssa Chow, our attorney. And then coming up next week, next Wednesday, on September 1st, we have ACC Show and Tell with zero emission vehicles. And then on next Thursday, another cooking demo at 11 o'clock with sushi making for beginners with one of our favorite chefs that also comes by is Koichi Mitsuzima. So again, really appreciate you and everything that you did today. It was very entertaining, very enjoyable. So thank you to the audience, and thank you to our viewers. See you again next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.